Hello everyone, today I'm actually talking about something I've wanted to talk about for a while. Ever since I first saw Solo in the theaters, I was one of the few that saw it, but I decided to wait until it came out on physical media, because I always buy physical media. I don't ever do digital, and I wanted to get, good quality. I didn't want to use pirated footage. I saw Solo during the opening week, and I enjoyed the movie well enough. Sure, it had its bad things, like the ridiculous origin of his name.
What? Who are your people?
I don't have people. I'm alone.
Solo.
And Alden Ehrenreich as, Han to begin with. I mean, I thought Scott Eastwood was the perfect candidate for this role, but Ehrenreich is the one that got it. He doesn't seem to be a terrible actor or anything. He just not my Han. And Woody Harrelson in this, I like Woody Harrelson. He's a good actor. But in this, I kind of felt that his acting was a little wooden. And I'm not just trying to say that to be humorous. I just think that's kind of the best way to put it. At least that's what I think to be the best word for this.
Are they on us?
Like Ragnall on a Kylax.
I don't know what that means.
Like a Gengerson's pelt.
Like, are they or aren't they?
Yes, they're still on us.
There's also the fact that we have Clint Howard in a Star Wars movie now. So that's a little weird to me.
Stay away from him. He's never had it so good.
But there were some pretty good things too. We got to see Donald Glover as Lando, a wonderful casting choice. We got to see what the Kessel Run actually was. Though a parsecs thing is still kind of stupid, but we got to see what it was. Paul Bettany as the villain was pretty good.
God, I'm good!
All the characters that died early were pretty good. Oh, by the way, this is going to have spoilers. There was the fabulous L3-37, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, why? Because you're my organic overlord?
Because I'm your captain. How about that?
I actually would have a memory wiped. But she's got the best damn navigational database in the galaxy.
Could use a fresh coat of paint, though.
Landonis, you do not want to press that button with me.
And we also got to see Clint Howard being choked out by L3.
Gonna flip your switch.
Good luck finding it.
Now, one of the things that actually surprised me about Solo is how dark the movie actually was when you stop and think about L3's fate. I mean, when we are first introduced to L3-37, she is trying to convince some fellow droids to revolt.
You should not be doing this. They're using you for entertainment. Yeah, you've been Eurowashed. Don't just blindly follow the program. Exercise some free will.
And is thrown out of a bar due to such. Now, I have heard people referring to L3 as an SJW, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad descriptor for her. I mean, I dislike SJW because it's used as a pejorative almost, but yeah, she is all about droid freedom. And let's be honest, if we are going to create AI, something that could potentially gain a sentience, we are dooming them to the same existence as us, more or less. So, I personally do believe that sentient droids should have civil rights. I mean, in our reality, it's just a hypothetical thing, but in this, it makes sense, for sure. And I love L3. I do wish we got to know more about her, because the only things we really know about her, she is an amalgamation of a bunch of different droids. She is all about the droid uprising, and she might have feelings for Lando.
Sometimes I think, maybe. But no. We're just not compatible.
How would that work?
It works.
That, and apparently she's owned by Abstergo. From what we do get with her, I really learned to enjoy the character, but again, still just, there wasn't much of her. Because while she is causing a droid and slave uprising.
Restraining bolts. Barbaric. Congratulations, you're liberated. Scoot. I don't know. Free your brothers and sisters or something. Just give me some space.
You guys are not gonna believe what I'm seeing up here.
Is it a mass breakout?
L3, what did you do?
I found my true purpose, Lando! That's what I've done! I'm so glad we took this job!
She gets killed in the crossfire. And it seems Lando might have some feelings for her as well, some deep feelings as well, because he actually runs out and puts himself at risk to try to save her. It's pretty heartbreaking, and I think this scene does make the movie better. It does feel like these characters do care about each other. Now, it's not dark that she died in Lando's arms or anything like that. I mean, yeah, that sucks, but it's not the darkest thing ever. No, what's actually pretty dark here is, in order to avoid threats in the Kessel Run, they have to use the navigational system inside L3. So they remove her internal processor and hook it up to the Falcon. The Falcon is a sentient being. And what's worse, she has no free will, as she is a ship that does not control her own steering. And she is very vocal. She is very vocal about who she is, what she thinks is right, all this stuff. And she is brought to an existence where she cannot express herself. She has no mouth, and she must scream. And actually, I feel like this is a fairly decent comparison, because the protagonist in I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream... Oh, by the way, this is also going to have some spoilers for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, so there's that. Oh, by Harlan Ellison, by the way. He's kind of a douchebag, so right there. But there is parallels, because the protagonist in I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is trying to free his comrades. He's trying to free his comrades from their horrible existence.
I turned half to my right and drew a huge ice spear from the snow. All in an instant. I drove the great ice point ahead of me like a battering ram, braced against my right thigh. It struck Benny on the right side, just under the ribcage, and drove upward through his stomach and broke inside him. He pitched forward and lay still. Gorrister lay on his back. I pulled another spear free and straddled him, still moving, driving the spear straight down through his throat. His eyes closed as the cold penetrated. His toys had been taken from him. 3 of them were dead, could not be revived. He could keep us alive by his strength and talent, but he was not God. He could not bring them back. Well, it doesn't make any sense. I know I saved them. I know I saved them from what has happened to me, but still, I cannot forget killing them.
And in doing so, he is made into a creature that is... whose existence is pure suffering and body horror.
Will describe myself as I see myself. I am a great, soft, jelly thing, smoothly rounded, with no mouth, with pulsing white holes filled by fog where my eyes used to be. Rubbery appendages that were once my arms, bulk surrounding down into legless humps of soft, slippery matter. I leave a moist trail when I move. Dumbly I shamble about, a thing that could never have been known as human, a thing whose shape is so alien a travesty that humanity becomes more obscene for the vague resemblance.
They literally have no mouth, and they must scream.
I have no mouth, and I must scream.
She is put into an existence where she cannot advocate for herself.
She's part of the ship now.
She just has to sit idly by as the rest of existence goes on around her. I mean, in a way, it's like, oh, how romantic. She's part of Lando's ship now. Oh, and he loves his ship. Oh, so they're like all super close now. But no, of course, Lando loses the Falcon, as we all know, because duh. So she is there. She loses the person she cares most deeply about, and it's quite some time later, like, what, 15 years later, that she would see Lando again. In the meantime, she's just being she's taken captive by this dude that won her in a poker game. Well, okay, Sabak, but whatever. And let's think about all the things she's seen in the Star Wars movies. She was all there for that. She was there at the discovery of the Death Star.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
She was there in the remains of Alderaan.
We come out of hyperspace in a meteor shower, some kind of asteroid collision.
She was there to see Obi-Wan get struck down. She was there to see Han fly her into a giant worm creature.
The cave is collapsing.
No cave.
She could have known that that was a giant worm creature the whole time and been horribly afraid of it, and Han just continues to go on and she can't do crap. And she is there to sit on Jakku unoccupied for how long? I actually don't know off the top of my head how long she was sitting there, so look that up, put it right there. So yeah, this is a sentient being with thoughts of her own, but no free will and no advocacy for self. I cannot think of much worse existence. I mean, body horror is one of those things that really bug me. Yeah, I will not watch The Human Centipede. The South Park parody of it was too much for me. Of course, she was also there for the good things. She was there when the first Death Star was destroyed.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
She did get reunited with Lando after some time, so that's good too. And not only that, but she actually was there when Lando destroyed the second Death Star. Again, L3 is all about liberation. The rebels were freeing themselves from an oppressive government. I think she would be all for that. Of course, unfortunately, that does mean she was there to see the uprising of the whiny empire, the First Order. Now, for the record, I actually really like the sequels. Even The Last Jedi. I love The Last Jedi. Though I do have to say, it's probably a good thing that L3 didn't have to see this. I mean, I think we can all agree. This shot, this scene, it's goofy. And at least L3, according to hiddenmickeys.org, which I had to access with the Wayback Machine, she was also in Disneyland Space Mountain prior to 2003. So she just got to, be floating around space, listening to the Dick Dale cover of Kim Il-sung. Wait. She gets to float around listening to Dick Dale's cover of Kim Il-sung's Aquarium, which... beautiful. Beautiful piece of music. Okay, maybe not beautiful. Surf rock might not be beautiful, but it's really good. Although, I'm not actually... I saw this as a kid. I'm like, Millennium Falcon's flying around there. What? Where? And I looked for it, never could find it. I think some people were actually getting confused for the giant chocolate chip cookie that was flying around. I do think that L3 would probably like Rey, though. I don't know why, but I could see them getting along. So Solo is my least favorite thing that Disney has done with Star Wars so far. I mean, I'm not excited about Star Wars Land, at least not the Disneyland version. I have some thoughts on it. Trust me, I have thoughts. You know what? Next video, I think I'm finally gonna make a video where I air my grievances about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, or Star Wars Land. I guess just for good measure, Pixar Pier. Okay, so that's happening. But anyways, as I was saying, Solo is definitely my least favorite Disney-made Star Wars movie. I really liked 7. I really liked Rogue One, and I actually loved Last Jedi. So, I mean, maybe I'm the odd one out, but it's been okay so far. Solo, again, weakest, but decent. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. This, still better than the holiday special. But anyways, hey, thanks for joining, everyone. I will get to work on that Disney one. But yeah, thanks for watching. Again, this is one that I've been wanting to do for a while, because, again, L3's fate sucks when you just stop and think about it. But thanks again for watching this one. Take care, everyone. Remember that you're valid. Bye-bye.
This is America.